Few people expected a basketball game to become one of the most talked about political stories in America. Yet that is exactly what happened when reports emerged that President Donald Trump planned to attend Game 3 of the NBA Finals at Madison Square Garden. Almost immediately, attention shifted beyond the players, the coaches, and even the championship itself. Suddenly, conversations were centered around what might happen when one of the most polarizing figures in American politics entered one of the most famous arenas in sports. The timing could hardly be more dramatic. New York was already experiencing basketball fever as the Knicks found themselves on a championship stage that many fans had waited decades to see again. Every game carried enormous emotional weight, and tickets were reaching extraordinary prices. The city was focused on basketball, but Trump's planned appearance added an entirely different layer to the spectacle. Supporters viewed the visit as another. Point 2. What made the situation even more remarkable was the setting itself. Madison Square Garden is not just another sports arena. For generations, it has been considered one of the most iconic venues in the world, a place where sports, entertainment, and culture constantly intersect. Every major event held inside the building seems to carry extra significance, and this NBA Finals game was no exception. The atmosphere was already expected to be electric long before any discussion about presidential attendance emerged. The Knicks had captured the imagination of the city in a way few teams had managed in recent years. Their postseason run had transformed New York into a basketball-obsessed environment. Fans who had waited decades for a realistic championship opportunity suddenly found themselves witnessing one of the most memorable playoff stretches in franchise history. Every victory increased expectations, and every game felt larger than the last. The closer the team moved toward a championship, the more intense the excitement became. Into that environment stepped Donald Trump, a lifelong New Yorker whose connection to the city stretches back decades. Long before politics became the defining feature of his public identity, he was frequently associated with major sporting events in New York. Point 3. As discussions intensified, many people began looking back at the long and often complicated relationship between Donald Trump and professional basketball. What made this story so fascinating was that it was not the beginning of a connection. In many ways, it was the latest chapter in a relationship that stretched back decades and had evolved dramatically over time. Before entering politics, Trump often appeared to be a genuine admirer of the NBA. He attended games, interacted with league figures, and openly discussed basketball in public interviews. During those years, there was little indication that his relationship with the league would eventually become one of the most controversial intersections between sports and politics in modern America. Like many high-profile New Yorkers, he viewed Madison Square Garden as a central part of the city's cultural identity. There were even moments when Trump publicly praised some of the league's biggest stars. During the early 2010s, he expressed support for successful NBA teams and congratulated championship winners. At one point, he participated in efforts designed to attract superstar talent to New York, reflecting both his enthusiasm for the sport and his desire to see the Knicks return to prominence. Looking back, it is difficult. Point 4. No discussion about Trump's relationship with the NBA would be complete without examining the role played by some of the league's most recognizable personalities. Over the years, several players and coaches became outspoken critics of the president, creating a series of public exchanges that attracted national attention and often extended far beyond sports media. Among the most influential voices was LeBron James. As one of the most famous athletes in the world, his comments carried enormous weight both inside and outside basketball circles. Whenever political issues entered public discussion, journalists frequently looked to LeBron for a response. His disagreements with Trump became headline news and helped define a broader debate about the role athletes should play in political conversations. Supporters praised athletes for using their platforms to speak about important issues, while critics argued that sports should remain separate from politics. The debate extended beyond players. Coaches such as Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich became known for openly sharing their views on social and political matters. Their comments often generated as much attention as their team's performances on the court. Unlike many sports figures who preferred to avoid controversial topics, these coaches consistently expressed their opinions, regardless of potential criticism.